At E3 2017, Microsoft shocked the world with the reveal of the latest Dragon Ball game, Dragon Ball Fighterz, a 2D fighting game with the Dragon Ball IP. It has an original story, a new never-before-seen character, and was developed by Arc System Works, who at the time was known for Guilty Gear Xrd and BlazBlue Central Fiction. Yep, we're talking about them again. To be fair, ever since the release of this game, ArcSys has let themselves be known to people outside of the FGC, and honestly, it's thanks to them that fighting games are getting a lot more shine in the modern times. But before we get started, I'd like to ask you guys to please like and subscribe because it really helps the channel and I really appreciate the support. Dragon Ball Fighterz had great reception to its E3 trailer. Graphically, it looked amazing, and the nerds figured out immediately that ArcSys showed a lot of attention to detail because almost every attack shown was basically ripped straight out of the manga or the anime. This game was to be a love letter to the late Akira Toriyama's masterpiece, and it really shows. When it was released in 2018, it had high critic and user review scores, and as of 2023, more than 10 million copies have been sold, showing that ArcSys really hit the ball out the park with this one. And as you can tell, the game was a hit. Fighting game veterans, Dragon Ball fans, and people who've never touched a fighting game a day in their life have all flocked to this game due to the hype, and it was, in fact, worth it. I remember waiting outside of my local GameStop at midnight and getting super excited when I got my hands on the game. There was a very long line, and half the people were waiting to get Dragon Ball, and the other half were trying to get Monster Hunter. It's still cool. And if you pre-ordered the game and got the physical copy, you got this cool Goku figurine. I don't have it anymore because I gave it to my younger brother because he really wanted toys and he pretty much destroyed it. And unlike the previous Dragon Ball Z games at the time, this one was a traditional competitive 2D fighting game. Designed to be easy to play but hard to master, they hit the nail on the coffin with this one. This game is incredibly easy to pick up and to play due to the auto combo system they put in, allowing anyone to just play the game and perform cool looking combos while playing it. But if you wanted to do the super cool stuff, you need to take the auto combo training wheels off, and once you do, that's when you realize how precise you'll need to be to do the intermediate and advanced combos. The game had a perfect balance at the time, catering towards the casual audience while not sacrificing the depth to keep the competitive audience hooked. There are no greater examples of this than looking at the grand finals for both EVO 2018 and the Dragon Ball Fighterz World Tour. Each player is playing at the peak of Dragon Ball Fighterz Season 1. Goichi, Sonic Fox, Kazunoko, and Fenrich. No one could match these four in terms of player skill. And then, at the end of the Dragon Ball Fighterz World Tour, Arc System Works announced a Season 2, with some balance and system changes, and 2 extra characters to come out, Videl and Jiren, who were set to release January 31st of 2019. The fans and the audience were going insane. Everybody was super hyped, and Dragon Ball was just, they were up. It was insane. And I remember my time playing the game and watching the tournaments, getting super hyped with my friends every time a new character trailer dropped. It was just like when I was a kid and watching Nintendo Directs about when the next Smash character is coming. It was like that level of hype. But the hype can only go up for so long because while announcing that, Arc System Works said that there would only be 1 balance patch for the entirety of Season 2, and Season 2 was to be a year long. Little did they know this would be a grave mistake and a hit on the community. And it's all thanks to a certain character dubbed as the Rat Boy by the community. Well, the second Rat Boy, if you want to be more precise. GT Goku released in May of 2019 to mixed feelings from the community. To put it simply, he was the best character in the game. He was very small and low profiled a lot of hits. He had an amazing Oki off of his level 3, which he could combo into from his second level 3, which also did more damage if you were down a character. He could go full screen with a single button and lock you down with it. He had an amazing assist that did the same thing, and if the assist hit you, it was a guaranteed full combo. He had incredibly large hitboxes for somebody who goes up to most people's knees. He had amazing stagger pressure and more. It was clear that Arc System Works made him better than the rest, and it would be that way for over 8 months. GT Goku was everywhere on every team in every tournament. He even had pro players talking about a ban at one point. He was the character that if you weren't playing him, you purposely put yourself at a major disadvantage. EVO that year had a lot less entrants, and it was probably due to the character. Nobody wanted to fight or see GT Goku anymore, and I was also one of those people. I dropped Dragon Ball Fighterz to play BB Tag because I was incredibly tired of seeing that character. But sadly, that was only the beginning of Dragon Ball Fighterz' fall. With the global pandemic forcing everybody inside their homes, the real problem showed its ugly face for the game: its horrid netcode. Dragon Ball Fighterz had really bad and laggy online due to its delay-based netcode, and with no in-person tournaments due to the pandemic, the community was forced to play it, and it was less than stellar. The game's popularity was falling, and the next DLC didn't help either. So let me introduce you guys to Dragon Ball Fighter's second problem child, Ultra Instinct Goku. This character actually makes me laugh. He's the second problem child because he didn't care how you played. He had absurdly powerful normals, a ludicrous light auto combo that had huge hitboxes, more invincible moves than everyone else, and could disregard projectiles. His pros were increased even further due to the lag of the game, which made online, the only way to play against him by the way, almost impossible. Things that were reactable offline were unreactable online, and it was really tough because most characters have no invincible reversal for free. He has about like 3 or 4, and they were really powerful. Ultra Instinct Goku is the online warrior go-to. It felt like you could do whatever you wanted and with no worry at all. UI Goku during the pandemic was basically a spoiled rich kid whose parents' money got him everything. He didn't have to work very hard to get results, and with no rollback in sight, his reign of terror didn't seem like it would end. Dragon Ball Fighterz was pretty much in a doomed state at this point, and Arc System Works actually, I feel like they sealed their fate when they released the coolest character, but probably one of the most controversial ones, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. Now, don't get me wrong, I love this character, he is really cool, I don't think anybody hates this character, but he's just way too powerful. Staying true to the lore of adding this character to a video game, Arc System Works made sure to make him an absolute powerhouse. It's honestly faster to say what's wrong with him than it is to say what's good about him. He basically has no range and his assists are kind of hit or miss, and that's all that's wrong with him. He's the first character to come out with 2 air dashes. He has a projectile crushing lariat, stupendous pressure with reflect proof strings, command normals that give him high or low and that are jump cancelable, so he can do high or low and left right mix-ups very easily. He has, for some weird reason, a command grab, a plus on block special, and a DP that is very safe on block because it can be cancelled, and if it hits or just when you use it, it gives him a Dragon Ball. For those of you who don't know, Dragon Balls are a mechanic in Dragon Ball Fighterz, and if you can collect 7 of them, you can get your wish granted by Shenron. The thing is, it takes a lot of effort to get a Dragon Ball in this game. There were only 2 ways to getting a Dragon Ball. You can either use the light auto combo from start to finish, which guarantees you a Dragon Ball, or do a incredibly long combo. But the thing is, with incredibly long combos, your opponent or yourself are going to die. And if 7 Dragon Balls are on the field and you have 7 meters, if you do the light auto combo from start to finish, you can get the dragon to grant you wish. But it's almost never happens in a real match. He also has a taunt that buffs the damage of his supers up to 7 levels, and at level 7 grants him a pretty easy to confirm instant kill with his Big Bang Kamehameha times 100. I believe it's safe to say that he shook the meta and is still shaking it, making him to this day one of the best, if not the best character in this game. And with the buff of his other fusion selves, this season was a wild one. But Arc Sys didn't stop there, because 1 year later, Arc System Works brought out the Grim Reaper in the form of Labcoat 21. Yes, the story mode character is finally playable 4 seasons later. This character is chaos in human form. That's the best way I can describe her on release. Calling her absurd is an understatement. She dominates the neutral even without assist with all the tools that she has. She has obnoxious pressure with not 1, not 2, not even 3, but 6 lows that lead to a hard knockdown. She has a command overhead and 2 command grabs. She has the most threatening pressure in the game. It's hard to aerial her with her omnidirectional anti-air, which leads to death if hit. She has a lariat to end all lariats. She has an off-the-ground low-hitting attack that can extend her combos significantly. She has 4 super attacks, and one of them is an invincible command grab that buffs her and nerfs her opponents for the rest of the game. When she released, my friends and I jokingly called her a self-insert character because of how absurdly strong she was for seemingly no effort. I asked one of my friends for their opinion on the character, and this is what he had to say. Dragon Ball Fighterz has some annoying metas to deal with, but they always felt manageable. They always felt like you could learn more and get past them, or they were a small patch away from becoming fine. Labcoat 21, on the other hand, was a large statement from Big Mommy Hiroki that she had you by the balls and could squeeze them till she popped them if she wanted to, and you would still follow her order. It's safe to say he didn't like the character. The community definitely shared that sentiment because nobody liked this character. Not a single person did. And with Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta still sitting on his throne, those two ruled with an iron fist, and they probably still do. The meta when she released was any 2 fusions and her. This probably led to a burnout for a lot of players. A lot of people, myself included, still love this game, but playing it feels like a chore. With fusions and lab coats being everywhere, it was a little annoying to play the game. Especially because there are other games out there now. Don't get me wrong, this game is still incredibly successful and fun when you play with your friends, but it's not going to be the same as it was. With little over 1,100 people still playing, the game is still going pretty strong for a fighting game. Not as strong as before, and not as strong as Arc System Works' new favorite child, Guilty Gear Strive, but it's still going well. And I feel like if Arc System and Bandai want to keep the gravy train flowing, they're going to need a sequel. And to be honest, I'm very surprised they didn't make a sequel to this game. This is one of their most, if not the most successful fighting game that these guys have. People have been asking for a sequel for years now, and I know they're listening because even though it was late, they added rollback last year. They are aware of their fans' concerns, and I'm sure that they are aware of people asking for a sequel. But I know due to legal reasons, it's not that simple, but I hope that whoever is in charge of the decision making realizes that they could be making a lot more money with a second Dragon Ball Fighterz game. I'm sure that if sometime down the line they announce a Dragon Ball Fighterz 2 with all of the characters in it right now in the base roster and then add more characters like Raditz, Zarbon, Dodoria, manga characters. We could have Turles. There are so many characters in the Dragon Ball universe that could be added to this game, and people would go feral for them. I'm honestly surprised it hasn't happened yet. But if I'm being honest, I don't think that we're gonna get a Fighterz 2, and it's due to the passing of the great Akira Toriyama. His passing kind of caused DBZ to be in a sort of limbo state, and for now, all we can do is sit and hope for another iteration of the game, or maybe even an official Season 5. What do you guys think? Do you think that we're going to get a Season 2, or do you think that they're just going to add another season to it? Personally, if they do continue with Dragon Ball Fighterz, I personally hope that they make a sequel, because it would just be so much better. With the next gen consoles, they could add more dramatic finishes. They could add way more stages. They can make the game look even more beautiful. You can see the graphical updates from Budokan Tenkaichi, even though that is it's over a decade old and sparking zero, how beautiful that game looks. If Arc System Works knows what they're doing, and I know they know what they're doing, they can make Dragon Ball Fighterz look better than Guilty Gear Strive and DNF Duel. But that's all I have to say. I made this video because I wanted to talk about what I personally think killed Dragon Ball Fighterz, or wounded it heavily. And if you disagree, please tell me what you guys think is the cause of Dragon Ball Fighterz' downfall. Please leave a comment down below and let me know what you guys think. And never forget to have a blessed day. I have been Elijah St. Louis. I hope you've all been okay.